Welcome. This is the Messiah Revelation Ministry. We are an end time prophetic ministry. We are in the end times, and the wars are going on. In the end times, there will be different kinds of wars. The war of Armageddon, and the war that the Antichrist will wage against the saints of the Most God, the saints of the Most High. The Most High God um, is part of the wars going on, and there are wars against God, the God who created the universe. And before the battle of Armageddon, before the war of the Antichrist, there are many wars going on. Today we are focusing on the war, cultural wars against God, and the wars are taking place on university campuses all over the world. The universities play a major role in the war against God and his kingdom. And today we will see how universities continue with the war. We're talking about cultural war, ideological war. We are talking about war dealing with the authority of God, challenging the authority of God. We are focusing on some universities in California in the United States, universities that are waging war against God, cultural wars against God. This message is based upon an article that I read from um, End Time Prophecy News Watch. And the article is about requirements that some universities in California are demanding for someone to be admitted in those universities to um, have a seat on campus to be admitted into the universities. You have to affirm the gender and sexual ideologies and doctrines of the universities. They are very radical, and I would say they constitute one of the examples of the wars going on in the world, wars against God. The universities, including UCLA, University of California, Los Angeles, and University of California, Berkeley, in California. They are demanding that um, affirm certain doctrines. These are doctrines relating to sexual orientation and so many other things. And as a result of that, they are requiring students to do a test, and you need to pass the test. The test is to examine you to see your perception, acceptance or non-acceptance of their cultural ideologies relating to LGBTQ agenda. And if you don't pass the test, it means that you will not be admitted. You will not hold a position in the classrooms in those universities. And not only do you have to pass the test, you have to pass the test very well. It means that you have to score 100% on the test. And the test is part of what they call SHAPE program, SHAPE, SHAPE. Um, SHAPE, sexual harassment, anti-discrimination, prevention, and education. Sexual harassment, anti-discrimination, prevention, and education, SHAPE, SHAPE. And it is a nice acronym, SHAPE, sexual harassment, anti-discrimination, prevention, and education. And they are purportedly preventing sexual harassment, and they are preventing hostility against people with different sexual orientation. And so for them to do that, any student who wants to be admitted to those universities, you need to take the test and you need to pass the test. You need to score 100%. And for you to score 100%, it presupposes that you believe in the doctrines and the ideologies propagated and propounded by those radical universities. And some of those issues involve safety issues. And if a man enters a female's bathroom, a male, biological male, enters the bathroom of females, is it a security issue? And I believe that is a security issue. And I believe that some people will be uncomfortable. In certain cultures, one of the areas where you see clear distinctions is bathrooms, male bathrooms and female bathrooms. And they will go off culturally, but most countries identify the separation among the sexes when it comes to the use of bathrooms. But here in California and among the universities, they don't have anything wrong about a biological male entering the bathroom of females. Can you challenge it? No, they don't want you to challenge it. They are protecting people's sexual orientations. And the other issue is about names and pronouns. Can you call somebody by a name that the person doesn't like, or can you refer somebody by using a pronoun that the person doesn't like? If you do that, that constitutes sexual harassment, and they are quote unquote preventing sexual harassment. If you call somebody um, by that person's biological name, the name that was given to that person at birth, that is harassment. It is denaming. They call it denaming. For example, if somebody was born Janet, uh, she is a biological female born Janet. And then later on, she decided that she's no longer a female. Can you call her Janet? Because when she was born, her name was Janet. Can you call her Janet instead of John? And the rules in those universities say that if you call somebody by their biological names, the names that they were given when they were born biologically, that is sexual harassment. You are creating a hostile environment and you need to stop. And so if somebody was born Adam, and now later he decided that he's no longer Adam, he wants to be Eve. It will be a harassment if you call that person Adam, even though you know that the person is a biological man, he was born as a male. You cannot call him Adam. If he wants to be called Eve, you should call him Eve. And the issue of pronoun, do you use he or she for somebody, or do you use it? And do you call somebody by a pronoun that they don't want to be called? These are all part of the wars against God. God created male and female. The book of Genesis is our reference. But now, these universities and other institutions, they don't recognize the male-female dichotomy. They claim that male, females are not the only genders, there are many genders. And even if you look at the United States, they changed their passports and to create a room for a gender that is not male or female. And so it is not surprising that universities in California, some of them, University of California, Los Angeles, University of California, Berkeley, they are now demanding that their students take a test affirming certain doctrines that the universities hold. One of them is that it is not only two genders, we have many genders. It is okay if a biological female enters the bathroom of men. It's okay if biological men enter the bathroom of females. And it will be a harassment to call somebody by their original name on their birth certificate if they don't want to be called by that name. If they have transgendered, you need to respect their transgenderism. And what is more disturbing is that now those universities are not only telling you to recognize somebody's sexual orientation, they want you to affirm it. They want you to condone their practices, and that's why they are to take a test, mandatory test, and you have to pass. Not only passing, you have to score 100%. And for you to score 100%, it means that you have affirmed their doctrines. Their doctrines about gender, multiple genders. Their doctrines about sexual orientation. And as we see all these things going on in universities, we must be aware that we are in the days of Lot. We are in the end times. And institutions have played a major role. Universities, educational institutions, they've played major role in the war against God. The Illuminati came from university campus in Germany, and Freemason also is promoted by universities over the world. The Skull and Bones, a secret society in the United States, originated from an Ivy League university, Yale University, and that university has produced many presidents who were members of secret society, the Skull and Bones. And the doctrine of evolutionism was propounded by Charles Darwin, who was a university professor. So universities have played a major role in the war against God, and they will continue to wage war against God. And this is what universities in California are doing. California is a cultural pace setter in the United States, and what happens in California has nationwide implications. And when you see universities like Berkeley, UCLA, promoting what they call SHAPE, SHAP, sexual harassment, anti-discrimination, prevention, education. And when they are promoting that type of education, it's a different type of education. It is anti-God education. It's indoctrination. It's a program that will force a Christian and somebody who is a believer in God to affirm doctrines that are against the precepts and the principles of the Bible. And the Bible is clear in Genesis that God created human beings in his image, male and female, and there are only two genders. And the pronouns are he and she. It is not any other pronoun, but the shape programs in the universities in California will force students to affirm different pronouns, to affirm the doctrines of the promoters of those ideologies, and even though they are against the precepts and the principles of the Bible. It shows that we are in the last days, and Paul warned us about it, that in the last days people will deviate from the faith, and they will be seduced by doctrines, man-made doctrines, doctrines that are anti-God, and they will lead so many people to eternal condemnation, eternal destruction. And as we are talking about the sheep, what is harassment? Self-declared pronouns, a he or she. We have more than two pronouns. And if you do not use the right pronoun, politically correct pronoun, you are engaging in sexual harassment. If you call somebody by their biological name, they call it denaming, and you are accused of harassment. And if you do that, you are creating a hostile environment. And if you don't affirm those ideologies, you will not be admitted to those universities. We are living at a time when the big university, the so-called Ivy League universities in America, a majority of the students, or I would say a large proportion of the students, identify as LGBT, and they are leading the war against God. It is a war initiated by Lucifer and his angels, as you see in the Bible, where Lucifer waged war against God, and he was thrown out of heaven. In the last days, Lucifer will wage war, actual war against the Messiah, the battle of Armageddon. But before then, the agents of Lucifer, they are waging cultural war, and they are using universities to wage war against God. And we are in the last days. And don't be surprised, because Apostle Paul wrote about it in Romans chapter 1, verse 28, that we read for the record. 1:28. Romans 1:28. And even as they did not like to retain God in their knowledge, God gave them over to a reprobate mind to do those things which are not convenient. And so the Lord gave people to their reprobate mind because they did not want to retain the knowledge of God. The knowledge of God is in the Bible. God created human beings, male and female, only two genders, two pronouns. And because people do not want to retain the knowledge of God, God has given them to a reprobate mind. And so in the last days, we see major universities, University of California, Los Angeles, University of California, Berkeley, and others. They are demanding that their students take a test, mandatory test, to affirm homosexuality, to affirm LGBT ideology, to affirm different genders, and even though these explicitly are wars against the laws of the Most High. And there will be consequences. The consequences will be eternal consequences, because when the Messiah comes, he has said he will gather all the things that offend God, and he will destroy them. Will the Lord destroy the educational institutions that are waging war against God himself? Your bet is as good as mine, because the Lord this time has given them to a reprobate mind, but a time will come when he will judge the world. And there is a curse on those who say evil is good and good is evil. The prophet Isaiah has said it in Isaiah chapter 5, verse 20. And so people are saying good is evil and evil is good. and they are forcing people to affirm ideologies and doctrines that are anti-God, and they are part of the agents of the end time war, and that war has already started even before the Antichrist comes on the scene. And the war has started. The war against God, initiated by Lucifer, will continue until the battle of Armageddon. But you know the results. The kingdom of heaven will prevail. And this is Messiah Revelation Ministry. Thank you for watching this video.